Okay, next we'll move on to North Carolina. Mac Brown, the head coach there, 9-5 last year. A bit of a disappointing 9-5. It felt like they could be better. Their win total this year is at 8.5. So Vegas thinks that they'll be roughly the same this year. Drake May is a quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. They did lose their offensive coordinator Phil Longo to Wisconsin and replaced him with Chip Lindsey from UCF. And kind of some mixed reviews on that, just from maybe reviews is the wrong word. I don't know. There's mixed feelings on that hire from different people. Some think it will work out well. Others feel like it's a clear downgrade from Longo. Remains to be seen, obviously. I do think that their offense, because they have Drake May, it's not going to suck. Like, they're going to have good offense again. Their defense, that's where it's been for them the last couple of years. Their defense has just been horrible. They have one really good linebacker, Cedric Gray. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any hope for this defense to be better, and then in turn the team?
I mean, not really. Like the short answer is no, not really. Isn't it a little bit telling when Longo leaves to go to Wisconsin? Well, like doesn't that mean something? Longo was a very coveted name, by the way, in a year where, high profile offensive coordinators were in demand, right? Everyone
Yes.
wanted one, and Alabama included. Like why? Yeah, he kind of dipped out pretty quick and goes with Fickle to Wisconsin, which, by the way, is probably a really good job. Like, we think he's going to do a good job there, but just why leave? Like that's the question. Why leave? You got a future first rounder at quarterback that you have. Like, he's going to make you look good. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was just a little bit telling why he's leaving. And I know that doesn't answer the question that you asked me as to, will the defense be better? Isn't it just a question of, like, culture, like, overall? Like, do we think, like, is Mac Brown, has the experiment worked, right? Like, Mac Brown leaves Texas, he's in TV for a while, goes to North Carolina. They get some talented guys. They
Yeah.
really do. Like, they have some really talented dudes that have gone through North Carolina since he's been there. Like, overall, as a team, they haven't put it together yet. And, like, that's all I'll say. Like, it was a warning sign for me when Longo left. And it means that, no, I don't think the defense will be a whole lot better. And maybe that's why he left. He wants to win some games. I don't know.
Yeah, and they lost a number of their players to the portal. Um, their what was that former 5-star corner? I forget his name.
Hmm.
Went to A&M. Storm Duck, who had one of the best names in the ACC, another corner,
Oh, yes.
transferred out as well. And it just, yeah. So a year ago, they hired Gene Chizik to be the defensive coordinator, and
Right.
their defense went from like 115th to 105th or something like that. Like, it's
Sure.
still just way down the list of where they should be. And they've recruited better under Mac Brown than they were before. He has improved some things, but most of that is on the offense. Like,
Right.
they've brought in good players in the offense. They still have good receivers, even though they lose Josh Downs and I want to say Antoine Green. Um, Sorry, some of this I'm just operating off of memory, but they still have other good receivers. They've recruited pretty well there. The offense, I'm not that worried about the offense, like I said, but it's just the defense needs to figure it out. Gene Chizik, that felt like an uninspired hire at the time, and last year didn't do anything to make me think otherwise. If you look at their schedule, which is obviously what we're talking about here, can they go over 8.5 wins? They play South Carolina to open the season. They play App State, which, hey, that was an instant classic last year. They also
Sure.
play Minnesota. Like, can you make it a more difficult non-con? They get Campbell later in the year, but 3 of those 4 non-conference games, South Carolina, App State, and Minnesota. Like, what? Why?
Right. The South Carolina game is interesting. We have a line out for it. It's at North Carolina. North Carolina is favored by 1.5, which I like. I was actually kind of surprised at. I figured maybe that would be the other way. Um, there's clearly talent there, and Drake May can cover up a lot of problems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Josh Downs does leave, but, like, Drake May can still take care. He can wallpaper over a lot of problems that you may have, and he can outscore people kind of by himself. So the numbers at 8.5. Did you have, was it just 8.5, or could you go to 9?
I think all I found was an 8.5. Yeah,
Okay. You need an answer here, don't you? I'm
it's.
still, this one was one that I'm pretty much a coin flip on because I
I'm
don't
working on
have
it
a great
myself.
feel. I don't have a great feel either way. I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under. I think they're just a little, I think they're mediocre. I do.
Yeah,
I think they're pretty mediocre.
they have like 7 or 8 coin flip games. Like
Right.
it's the type of schedule that could go so many different directions, just kind of depending on how they play, what North
Mhm.
Carolina team shows up this year. They have the talent to be top 3 in the ACC easily, but who knows? Yeah, I
It
think.
was just, it was some of the head scratching games too for
Mhm.
them. Like they could look good sometimes, and then yeah, sometimes like, something else happens, and you just you can't understand like how do you lose to like yeah, Georgia Tech? Like how does that happen late in the year? So it was, yeah, some of those games where like you're a huge favorite and you lose outright. It was just, it was a struggle. And then like you do beat Wake Forest, who was a good team last year. Like Wake was
Yeah.
a good team and you beat them. Yeah, and then the next week lose to Georgia Tech. Like it's, that's kind of who
Mhm.
they are. And you mentioned a lot of flip games. We talked about how the ACC is very kind of weak as a conference. It brings on a lot of these coin flip type games where you're not
Mhm.
completely sure. Like it could be, yeah, like anything could happen there. So I'm not going to bet on them. Let's just say that I'm
Right.
not going to be betting on North Carolina. I'll be going under just slightly.
I will join you in the under. 8-4 feels like it would be a pretty solid year for them, and that would be under 8.5, obviously. So could see them going over, but I'll join you on the other side there.